Hello, I know it's been a little while since I've made some videos for the Ferris Academy, but I'm back. Long hiatus, lots of work related stuff. So I'm back and I'm going to do a little bit of Unity for this one. So I've been writing some text-based tutorials on my downtime, and these are basically just going to complement the text-based tutorials. So I'll go ahead and get started. In this one, we're going to just create some kind of projectile that we cast out from the player. It's going to be really simple and give you an overview of how to use the engine with script and kind of bounce around and how easy it is. So we'll start by going to the hierarchy and hitting create, then click on the cube, and you'll get a cube here. So just type in these parameters. Do 0.07 on the X, 0.07 on the Y, and keep the Z as 1. Next, we're going to go ahead and add a rigid body. So go to Components at the top menu, Physics, and Rigid Body. And this is going to be the basis for our bullet. So we can just go ahead and rename that as well. So we can call it bullet. And we're just going to use this prefab to kind of just cast out from the object that we're going to use as a player. So drag the bullet from the hierarchy into the project, and you'll see that it creates a prefab. Now we can delete it from the hierarchy. Now in the hierarchy, let's create a capsule. That'll be the basis for our player. And let's rotate him 90 degrees on the Y, so that when we shoot over here in our game window, it'll come out from the left or right, because our camera is on this side. So one thing we're going to need to do is create a script for us to kind of shoot. So go up here to your project, hit create, C# script, and let's name that one shooter. Yes. So that creates our script called shooter, and then let's double click it to open. It may take a while for MonoDevelop to open on your machine, so give it a second. But once it opens, you're going to get this basic layout. I'm going to clean it up because I hate excess. I hate when code looks ugly like it did when it started out. So notice we left this update. I'm going to make it private just because I'm used to putting, private, public, protected in front of my functions and variables in classes, because it's a lot cleaner and it explains it a lot faster. If I didn't put private before void, it would have been private anyways, but this makes it a lot easier for someone that's reading, maybe even people that don't know much about C# to come in and understand it if they know another language like C++ that's relevant to C#. But that's all semantics. So let's start off by going to the very top of our class, and we're going to add in two public variables. We're going to add a public game object, and we're going to call this bullet, and we're going to set it to null. And then let's create a public float, and we're going to call it bullet speed, and we're going to set that to 500. Now that we've set this up, we can go ahead and start in our update and do and bind our keys to do something. So binding keys in Unity is actually really easy. So we can just say if input, capital I, dot get key down. This means that when I press the key down, this is going to happen, and only when I press the key down, not when it's held down. If you want to hold down a key, you would say get key instead of get key down. So go to keycode.f for fire, and when we fire, I'm going to create a couple comments here so that you can kind of get what's going on. Check if the F key is pressed down on the keyboard, and down here let's add a comment: instantiate the bullet using the prefab, spelled prefab wrong, prefab, and store it into the shot variable. So before we continue on down here, I want to associate our prefab bullet to this class. So let's save the class, go back to Unity, and drag this shooter class onto the capsule. And you'll see nothing happens, but when you click the capsule, you'll see it over here. The first thing you'll see for this script is the bullet says none for the game object. So all we have to do is grab this bullet and drag it on top of here, and now it's associated. Now we can head back to our script and finish it up. So inside of our script, let's do GameObject shot is equal to GameObject.instantiate bullet and transform.position. This is the position of the capsule because this script is attached to the capsule. So transform.position is the position of the capsule. And likewise, we're going to do transform.rotation. Next, we need to add force to our bullet, otherwise it's just going to instantiate on the capsule and fall, and we don't want that. Also, before we do that, let's add some distance from the position. If we set it to the position of the capsule, it's going to pop up inside the middle of the capsule, and we don't want that. So let's just go ahead and add transform.forward, which is the forward vector, which is the direction that the capsule is facing. We're going to multiply that by 2, so we're going to offset it by 2 units from wherever the capsule is facing. So let's finish our comment. Add force to the instantiated bullet's rigid body. So we'll just get our shot reference up here that we got from instantiating this bullet prefab. Let's get its rigid body. And let's add force, which is a function, and we just need to pass in a vector 3. So we want to shoot it forward from the player. It's going to go in whichever way the player is facing. So we use transform.forward again, like we used to offset it, and then we multiply that by our bullet speed. So this is going to add a lot of force, which is 500. It won't seem like a lot of force. 500 does seem like a huge amount of force, but when you see it in the engine, it won't really look like a lot of force. So you may want to up that inside of the editor, which I'll show you as well. So lastly, I want the bullet to disappear whenever it collides with anything. So we're going to use Unity's built-in function, private void on collision enter. Collision C. And in here we're just going to add a comment, destroy this object when it collides with anything. And we're actually sorry, we are not going to add this script into here. We're going to add it into a bullet script. So let's just cut this out. Don't mind my computer, it talks whenever I copy stuff. Sorry about that. So let's save this out. Our shooter is now finished. So we can save that out, open up Unity, let's create another script called bullet, and let's open up that script. So in here we have the same kind of nasty looking stuff. Let's just clean it up real quick. Okay, and we're going to paste what we cut out of the other one, the on collision enter, into this one. And we're going to say on collision enter GameObject.destroy GameObject with a lowercase g on this one. And we're finished with the bullet. So now all we need to do is drag this bullet script onto our bullet prefab. Blah blah blah, there's errors. Let's figure out what the errors are. I probably misspelled something, and actually I forgot to typecast. Asked game object. So we need to typecast it as a game object because this method outputs an object. So we need to typecast it as a game object. Save that out, clears that error. Put that bullet script on top of this bullet. You'll see now that it's at the bottom. And now if we hit play, we press F a few times, you'll see that these bullets kind of just fly out. And they kind of go on forever. So let's create a, let's just create a plane or cube, whatever. Smash it down and let's make kind of like a floor thing in here. There we go. So now I'm going to zoom this one out. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to hit F. And you can see that the bullet didn't go through the floor. As soon as it hit the floor, it disappeared. Otherwise, you'd see it down here kind of flying through. And also you'd see that it disappears over here from our hierarchy. So there we go. We have some bullets flying out. Let's increase the speed just because it'd be more fun. So click on our capsule, go to our shooter script, make this like 1,000, hit play, and now you can see it's shooting much further. So this needs to be like 10,000 to make like some bullet fly really far, really fast. So that's it. That's how you create a bullet. That's how you instantiate it from the player and you shoot it out from them. And we're done.